Hey everyone, this is Chris. This is a video for the Neural DSP Parallax plugin. In this video, I'll also make a comparison between the X7 and the plugin itself. I will be using a recent session that I did for a track called Untitled, where I recorded the X7 through the XLR output and used the parallel output for the straight DI. As you can see, I have two instances of fab filter here, one for the X7, one for the DI, so we can check the waveforms. Let's have a listen in a mixed content and see how it sounds. So as you can see, they're actually really close. In a mixed content, no one will be able to listen to the difference between them. Let's mute the guitars and check only the bass and drums. So especially with the settings that I had recorded back then, I didn't use much of Drive, so it was even more difficult to actually emulate it. But I think that it's almost the same. For this video, I was also provided with the X7 impulse response, which is actually the filtered XLR from the guys at Douglas, so I can have the exact same result without using anything else. Now let's have a look at the plugin itself. So now I have created a loop to check how the plugin works. I have set everything to default, and that's how the plugin looks when you set it up for the first time. As the pedal, we have a low pass and a high pass filter, as well as a low level and a high level. We have the high drive and also the compression for the low end. What's different about the Parallax is that we have a mid-distortion section where you can adjust the sound even more. We also have a 6-band EQ, we have input and output control, we have a gate, we have an oversampling of normal and high, and to the other tab here we have the cap simulation. So let's check first of all the distortion engine with the EQ and how the input affects the sound as well. As you can hear, just with the input control, we have many options on how we want to make the distortion to sound like. So you have to pay attention to how much you want your input to be. I'll set it to default, to 0. So let's isolate each of the bands first. So this is the low band. We have the low pass filter where we set the maximum frequency for that band. We have the low compression as well, and the low level. In case you are more of a visual guy, instead of adjusting all the controls, you can actually click and drag each waveform wherever you like and create the waveform to your liking. Let's check the mid distortion now. Most of the times I just use the low compression with the mid distortion and then setting an equalizer in combination with cap simulation. These are enough to create a sound, and then you have the high distortion section where you can tweak it even more. Here we have the high pass filter. With the high drive. So we have all these options just by messing around with each band section. We haven't even tweaked the EQ yet, and we haven't actually messed with the cap simulation as well. Let's make a sample of a sound with the drums. So even with tweaking with the equalizer, we have all these options, and you can shape the sound exactly as you like for the track you're working on. Let's check the cap simulation. When you double click, you disable or enable each one of them. Let's first start with only one of them. You have the option of combining two different IRs. So as you can see, we have these controls for the positioning, but at least to me, it's much easier to just click and drag the mic wherever I want it to be. The usual position that most people mic up their cabinets is next to the center of the cone. So now let's check how it affects the sound. As you can see, we have so many options just with the mic placement. And by default, we have the dynamic 57, we have a 906, a 421, and 184, a 160, a 121. We'll actually cycle through them to check how they sound. So these are the options we have for each cabinet, and now we can actually combine them as adding a second one. And we can actually control the mix between these two. And you can actually also invert. You also have the ability to load custom IR. Now let's check how we can save our settings. For example, here you have, when you click on this one, we have the artist section where you have all the presets that are made from different various artists. Then we have the factory presets where they can actually help you on creating a sound and getting a fundamental to how to actually work with it. Then you have the user, which actually the ones you have created. So now I have modified the sound and I want to save it. So we click on the diskette here. I'll name it Pick 4, save. And this one is saved now. Now these are some of the settings that I've created for different tracks that I've done. Let's have a listen just with the drums. So as you can see, it's a really versatile tool for creating amazing bass sounds. I have been using it since July, and to be honest, it has made my workflow much easier and simpler than I used to. Back in the day, I used to record one of my Douglas pedals for the distortion and then adding a split clean DI signal. But most of the times, with the certain settings that I've done, they will either require tweaking or they might not fix in the final mix of a track. So then you had to reamp it with a pedal. Now with this one, instead of going through all this, you just record a clean DI signal. Usually I just engage the plugin with one of the presets that I've done just to have an idea how it sounds with the drive and actually play with the drive, because usually I dig really hard when I record with distortion. And then I adjust the settings so they can fit the track. Overall, that's how the plugin works, and that's how it sounds compared to the actual pedal, which is almost identical. I hope you found this video useful. If you have any questions, just post it in the comments below at the video, and I'll try to help you as much as I can. Have a nice day and take care.